Hi and welcome back to Cheeky Crypto. My name is Nick, and today guys we're going to be jumping into the world of Cardano to take a look at the price action of ADA to see what we think is likely to happen next. As I get into this video, if you find it useful and informative, hit the like button. I really do appreciate that. If you happen to be new to the channel, why not go ahead and subscribe, tap the bell, select all notifications, and in doing so you will be kept up to date with everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. If you haven't yet joined us in Discord, links in the description down below. Fantastic community talking crypto 24/7. It's completely free and I don't think you'll be disappointed by what you find down there, so why not check it out today. If you're looking for a little bit more from the crypto space, you know, whether that's strategy around the bull market, the bear market, or maybe you're looking for AMAs with Chris and myself twice weekly, all the way through to a little bit of trading, why not check out the Patreon services down in the description below as well. Okay guys, let's get into this, right? So ADA paired up with USDT on the hourly chart, and we're looking at Binance as our data source here. Now, for the most part, if I actually just zoom out a fraction, we are of course tracking a very large corrective move coming down from this higher end. Okay, there was a double top up here, and it actually seems to be a pretty common thing when it comes to Cardano creating these double tops anyway. But nonetheless, we are talking about moving down from 124, and we're looking right at this accumulation point at the moment of about 68.5 through to about 75.6. okay, and this is a large ABC correction. There's a lot of kind of noise going on in the middle here, and I don't want to kind of talk about it in too much detail, but what we're going to do is we're going to just take a look at this recent move, and we're going to try to make sense of what we think is likely happening here and what's going to happen next. Okay, so essentially, if I were to tidy this up quite a bit, because I think some of this noise isn't really required. Okay, we can take a look at it, and we can basically assume that this is a giant A, this is our B, and this is our C. Okay, and we can go ahead and actually do some checks on this. We can basically take our low and our high. We can move this over to up on this B wave high, and we can see that this actually was just overextended on the 1-to-1, came right the way down onto our 1.236, so bounce from the 1.236. okay, so really good strong C wave. However, this is turning into a slightly deeper correction, okay, which basically means it's a little bit more going on than just an ABC here. Okay, we're bouncing on up, and it looks like we're coming back down again. We've created another double top just up here, and we can kind of see that. Let me just grab a horizontal ray, and what I'll do is I'll just throw that on right there. You can see double top got hit, and then we're looking to pull back down. Now we're looking to end back into this yellow box. Obviously, with the Fed announcement later today, I would expect ourselves to be heading into this box regardless, and I would expect this to be anywhere between 68.5 and 75.6. It's quite broad, but I am going to try to narrow that down for us right now. Okay, so if we take this low and we take this high and we move it over to the recent high a couple of hours ago, this might change mind because I'm actually recording this, I think, at about 7:45 in the morning. So as the announcement is this afternoon for me, this could change a little bit. But this would indicate to us that we're going to be going down to about 74.72. Okay, so if I were to draw that on, it would look something like this: A, B, and come down here to C. We'll go ahead and just put a line right there, price mark that up with this, so we end up with 74.72. I'll remove the fib. Okay, so that's kind of what we're looking at. That's going to be like your standard move down back into this yellow box area. We might expect some kind of bounce. We might pull back down even lower, but the expectation, I think, is probably going to be that we pull all the way down into this lower C range, where we actually take a look at this at about 68.54. okay, and if we take a look, that's a big A wave coming all the way down here, B wave up there, and C wave pulling all the way here. We've got the sub wave count, which is currently an ABC, but this could turn it into like a double three. We have the move up, we have the double top, and then we end up with a larger ABC correction just inside here, just bringing that down. And it's possible that this also overextends a little bit deeper than this 68.54, depending on the structure of this next corrective move. Okay, now if I bring the stochastic RSI back into play, we just zoom in a tad here, just make that a little bit bigger. You can see that we're just heading up into the overbought area, which means we should start to see a bit of a reversal where we are. On the 4-hourly, we actually pulled this down quite a bit, but this looks like it's probably got a little bit more bleeding to do. The 8-hour is up in the overbought area, so that's likely to come back down. And the daily chart just left the oversold, so I expect that to also pull back down as well. Now, the weekly is actually correcting quite nicely, aligned with Bitcoin and VeChain and many other altcoins in the space. We are looking to bring this down into the oversold area, and I do think we are likely to see this bleed out out a little bit more before we actually kind of see this is all done and dusted. Now, ultimately, this pullback could be deeper than even 68.54 for Cardano here, if Bitcoin goes down to that $34,000 range. But at the moment, this is where we're looking. We haven't got any wave counts that are saying us definitively that we're going to go down lower than this. So this is currently our low accumulation zone, okay? And I'm not expecting it to kind of go down any lower than that unless, you know, things change quite dramatically and relatively rapidly. So that Fed meeting this afternoon is going to be quite key to know whether or not we are going to be pulling down fast into these kind of low ranges, or whether or not we are likely to kind of see this thing kind of be a little bit more slow and gradual as we kind of correct down that weekly stochastic RSI over the next kind of couple of weeks or so. So ultimately, there's a lot of things up in the air right now, but the definitive direction of the market should be down. We aren't looking for any major kind of moves upwards, unless, of course, the announcement from the Fed is deemed positive. I still expect a negative reaction to start with, emotional investors trying to work out what they've said is good or bad. So I'm still expecting that the market is going to pull back a little bit, but if it's actually deemed good within the hour of the announcement, I think the market's going to turn green and we could potentially move on out of here. Okay, if that doesn't happen and it is deemed negative, then the bleeding will continue for quite some time, I would have thought, probably over the next few days, and then we'll start to see some green bouncing in the market and kind of coming back up, looking for some kind of short-term trading opportunities and that kind of stuff. But essentially, I think would expect the price to move down just ever so slightly here, you know, straight off the back of the Fed meeting or announcement. That should be negative because people are just emotional about it and don't necessarily understand exactly what is going on, and the market, according to the wave counts, are indicating that we should be going down. So I'm expecting us to go down regardless, but if it is deemed positive, we should see a little bit of positivity in the space, and we should see some green candles get printed as the market starts to wake up from what it's deemed as relatively negative for quite some time. I do feel that we're getting close to a point of reversal on the macro trend when we start to zoom back out. Specifically, if I come up into our daily chart and I bring this back down, we've been bleeding out for quite a bit here, and I do expect this to kind of come and start to turn it around and start to move back up. But again, we just need to kind of find these bottoms. We just need to make sure that everything's lined up across the weekly, the daily, the 8-hour, the 4-hour, and the hourly stochastic RSIs. Once they are all perfectly aligned and they all look like they're looking for good growth in the market and looking for the bounce, that is when we start to see the reversal. So at the moment, this is still looking like a really complex correction. It hasn't finished yet, even though we had the 335 structure going up. This is a definitive move, just basically telling us that we are in a corrective pattern, lots of overlap, and not a trend setter. Okay, so this is not a trend down, this is all corrections down, and the trend is still very much up because that hasn't been broken, and that is set from everything that was going on in 2021. Okay, so that trend is still very much valid on these macro charts. All of this is corrections, they're not trends, so the trend is still in the upward direction. Once this completes, we'll have the continuation of what led into this corrective pattern. So essentially, yeah, the long-term view is really positive. But we do need to see these last little few corrections come in first before we can start to see the reversal in the market. Guys, I'm going to leave the video there. If you have found this useful and informative, hit the like button. I really do appreciate that. If you happen to be new to the channel, why not go ahead and subscribe, tap the bell, select all notifications, and in doing so, you will be kept up to date with everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. With all that said, done and out of the way, I hope everyone has a fantastic day, and I'll catch you all in the next one.